The University of Cape Town is preparing to launch an online high school in the coming months. The higher education institution made the announcement this week. Admission applications opened on the 21st of July and classes will resume or begin in January of 2022. UCT says the launch of the online school will make it the very first African university to venture into secondary schooling through an online system. The university's Vice Chancellor, Professor Mamokgethi Phakeng, joins us now live. Prof, afternoon, good to speak to you. If my reading of that intro is anything to go by, I think I may have to come for a reading class or two there. Let's speak about how you think this venture is going to change education or help reshape it perhaps in South Africa.
Thank you very much, Tembekile, for inviting me. So how this venture is going to change the education situation of our country is that for the first time we have an entirely free online school platform that allows anyone, irrespective of whether they are registered with the school or not, it allows them extensive support or extensive lessons that are developed from the ground up for online. So every teacher, every learner from anywhere in the country can access the lessons online. They can use them, teachers can use them as they prepare for their teaching. They can use them in their classrooms, whether they are registered or not, they don't have to be. And parents can use them with their children at home, even when they are not registered with the school. And so that's something of a first. Many teachers would say, well, we access that kind of help online. Let me tell you, it is not based on the CAPS curriculum. They may be accessing lessons from somewhere in the US or India or something like that. This will be available for learners in the country and teachers. It offers, the platform we're offering grades 11 to 12. It's CAPS-aligned curriculum with a broad range of subjects, 10 subjects in grade 8 and 9, with more being added every year, and 14 subjects at grade 10, 11, and 12, with more being added every year. And classes will only start in 2022 for learners who are willing to register and at a monthly cost of 2,095 rands per learner, and the grade 12 intake will take place in 2023. This is a first, Tembekile. It hasn't happened in our country before.
But I'm wondering about accessibility, because that is the big conversation in the country at the moment. I'm listening to you reference the school fees amount, 2,000 rand odd per month per pupil. You also look at the fact that in South Africa, the majority don't necessarily have access to fast internet or even a basic smartphone in some instances. So in terms of the broader perspective, is this going to be limited very much to the middle class and the wealthy at this stage?
Good question. One of my colleagues asked me, she said to me, Khethi, you grew up poor. If you were right now in grade 8, in your situation, would you have been able to benefit from this? And it's an unequivocal yes. Because here's the thing, even if you can't pay the 2,000 rands, my mother, who was going to night school doing matric, would have been able to access those lessons to help herself, but also to help us, her children. She helped us without this kind of support. We didn't have textbooks, and she just helped us from her own experience, right? So the children don't have to have access to a laptop or whatever, but if they're like my mother, who didn't have matric, still learning, they would have been able to help. And then I said to this colleague, listen, my teacher, who didn't have a matric when I was doing a grade 8 and grade 9, would have had this support if I were at school now, even with the condition of my past at that time, that my teacher would have had the benefit of preparing with this as a resource for themselves to come and help me at school. Now, that kind of access, this free access to this online material is free, Tembekile. You don't have to pay the 2,000 rands. The good point is that, yes, it needs data. But at the moment, we are working with telcos to zero rate this platform so that everyone can get access to it. This is huge. It's not. Now we are saying to teachers who are battling in the townships, who are depending on material from elsewhere in the world, you don't have to do that anymore. Tembekile, many teachers in township and village schools get online to benefit from some material that's not kept aligned from elsewhere in the world. They can now do it here, getting materials from here that's kept aligned, that's designed from our context.
And just on that, Prof, pardon me for jumping in, exactly what you're referencing, let's talk about the parents who would be able to afford school fees of 2,000 Rand a month. They'll say to you, well, my kid goes to a fairly decent public school, a fairly decent private school where they do have exposure to international means of learning. Why would this give them the edge than conventional school?
Here's the thing. Personalized learning in many schools is regularly claimed, but it's rarely delivered, except to learners attending elite schools in wealthy suburbs. That's the truth. It is claimed, but not always delivered. The education crisis that we face in this country requires innovative solutions to offer a truly personalized educational experience to every learner at an affordable price. And I would say to those parents, you probably pay more. You might want to consider this. And we will guarantee you personalized service to your child, because there will be a personalized timetable for your learner, for your child, personalized pacing for their learning. There will be personalized time with the child and the teacher. There will be possibilities for joining clubs, for getting into coding if they want to whilst they're learning. There's also an opportunity to be at an assembly, to have fireside chats with professors who are here at UCT, and an exposure that many children who go to decent former Model C schools do not have. And we're saying to them, your child, when they finish matric, will not be intimidated by university, because they will have had an opportunity to interact with them during our fireside chats. They'll be exposed to a range of careers that they can think about and know that they exist, without having to find out when they get to university what exists out there. So this will prepare them for university in a way unimagined at the moment.
I'm glad you mentioned university. You and I and everyone else really at this point in South Africa knows the annual scramble where demand far exceeds supply as far as space at universities in the country. If I take my niece or nephew and enroll them with the UCT online high school, does that put them ahead in the queue for admission at UCT when the time comes?
Not at all. Not at all. They will need to qualify, they will need to pass their matric well, get the points that are required, and qualify to get into UCT. They'll compete for space at UCT like anyone else. But here's the thing. They will have gained the self-confidence to engage with university environment and people at university. They will have had this time of their high school developing self-discipline, and whatever university they get to, they will be able to hold their own. They will not be intimidated, whichever university they go to in South Africa or anywhere in the world. So they don't have to think that they will be locked into UCT, but they should know that if they come to the school, it will prepare them adequately for university. And here's the thing, Tembekile. Our dream is that the school, on this platform, we will also offer pre-university courses that learners can take whilst they are doing high school to prepare for university, sort of structured specifically for that, for every learner to take, even if they are not registered for the school. We're hoping to offer bridging programs. We're hoping to have an opportunity to offer some credits for university and some micro-credentials that people who are working might want to take if they want to upskill. So there's many opportunities that this platform makes available for us as a country, not just as a university.
Fantastic. And you spoke about the fireside chat opportunity, for example, with pupils and professors from UCT. School, in-person contact learning is also more holistic than just academics, right? It's crucial to our development of social skills, inter- and intrapersonal relations and the rest of it. how do we, in a world that's moving, at least in South Africa for the middle class and the wealthy, is moving more virtual and online because we have the resources to do it, how do we then educate but also raise teenagers in a way that they don't lose that?
So as I said, there'll be opportunities for social engagement. So if you go onto the website now, you'll see that there are other things that we offer there. So what we've been doing is to engage with clubs, social clubs, sports clubs around the country, to have partnerships with them so that learners can join those and they can have an opportunity to have a social interaction with learners, social interactions with their peers out there on the sports grounds, in cultural clubs, whether they want to do cooking, sewing, or coding, or soccer, they will have an opportunity to do that. And as I said, assembly, we've got a head of cultural activities who's already on board, and they'll be running the assembly every week for learners to engage there. And when they are learning, they also will be allocated a group where they will be meeting with the teacher as a group. So we've thought about this and are offering the many aspects that a face-to-face school would offer. That's the thing. I mean, and these are some of the things. I mean, we've been in lockdown for 2 years, and Thembekile, there is no school in this country and no university that can argue today that they've been able to offer online learning. It doesn't exist. This is a first in our country and continent, and it's going to get better as we go on.
Mm-hmm. Professor Mamokgethi Phakeng, Vice Chancellor at the University of Cape Town, good to speak to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Thembekile.